Hello, friends. Maestro here, bringing you another episode of my favorite podcast. Today, we're doing it live. Well, live for us anyway. I got my bestie on, JillFit, because we have an announcement for you folks. Jill, you want to do the honors?
I am so excited to be on Maestro on the mic again, even though this is also going to be on Fit Biz U. Y'all, I'm so excited. Doors are open for Legacy,
Let's
and it
go.
is our one time per year intermediate plus coaching program that the Maestro and I put on together, and doors are open just for this week. Today,
Today,
I should say doors open. Actually,
applications.
applications are open because it is by application only. And we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about if it's a good fit for you. We're going to talk about what you can expect. You're going to talk about exactly who it's for, the things that we look for, the people who do the best in the program, and all that good stuff.
Y'all know anytime we launch this program, we come on the mics, we have the mics, we talk about it, and we oftentimes talk about it a lot. And that's because we really fucking love it. We teamed up. This will be round number 5. So
Oof.
5 years ago to 4 plus 5 years ago to do this. And it has just been a rocket ship since then. We've gotten incredible people through each round. And despite my, what do we want to call it? My commitment issues, those are out the window. I had them in the beginning. Jill was like, I have an idea. And I was like, I have commitment issues. Those are long gone. And now I'm like, yo, this program feels like it's too short because it goes by so freaking fast. So, speaking of duration, timelines, things like that, you want to kick us off with just a little bit of information, kind of the logistical
Mm-hmm.
stuff, Jill?
Yeah, I mean, and also to just be like very meta with this, Shantae mentioned this is going to be our 5th round of Legacy, and this kind of goes to a lot of what we actually teach in Legacy, which is this idea of launching and iterating. So I can say that Legacy has never been the same. So, like
No.
every single year, we make some small tweaks to it based on feedback. I will also say we always have the best people in Legacy. And y'all know, like, we are, Shantae and I are very similar in a lot of ways. We're very different in other ways. And we'll talk about those things and what you guys kind of get with both of us. But I'm excited because this is the first time that we are starting Legacy right away. Normally, we enroll in October, and then we have a couple of like preschool calls, just general stuff to get you guys started. And then we don't officially start with the coaching until January. But what we found is that people are fucking ready to go. And so
That's it.
we're going to start right away in November, and it's going to go for 7 months. So it's usually 6 months. We're going for 7 months this year because we are adding a couple of months at the beginning, November and December. But we're going to get right into it. We're going to be, and also one of the biggest reasons, and you know this, Shantae, is like because a lot of times what we're seeing where people were coming into January and getting started with us and they already had a plan in place for a January launch. So if you're listening to this and you are in the health, fitness, nutrition, wellness, movement space, maybe you already think to yourself, well, January is going to be a good month to launch. And what was happening was we were getting people who were coming in and they were already sort of starting in their launch, and their launch wasn't going to be good. And it's no fault of their own. It just, we wanted them to do it better. And that's, of course, what we teach in Legacy is how to launch, how to iterate, how to have your biggest launch ever, how to create predictability in your launches, create predictability in your business. And what we were finding was we were having to sort of like pull people back in January. So this way, what we're going to do with you guys in November, December is we're going to lay the groundwork. So it's going to be everything from building your brand and also your audience, but also getting into launch strategies so that you are ready to have your biggest launch if you'd like to in January and do it better. So I'm excited about that because I don't want to support someone who has like something that I like already know is not going to work. And again, it's no fault of anyone's, except we've done this so many times now. We've done this with hundreds of clients. We do know what works, and we want to make sure that you guys have everything in place to be as successful as you possibly can come January, if that's when your first launch is going to be.
This is actually initially why we started Legacy. This was largely Jill coming to me with an idea and interviewing me, actually. And she was like, what do you think your strengths are? And I was like, wait, what? But
We're like a
there's
bike ride, and I'm like, tell me what you're good at.
I was like, what?
It's a job
What?
interview.
I mean, I got the job, folks. 5 years later, I'm still here. But there's a gap in the field, in the market, where people want to have online businesses. They were dabbling, they're working at it, they're trying to grow things. And it becomes like a spaghetti fest where it's just throw things at the wall, see what sticks, maybe working on a lot of mindset, but like in a super nebulous way, and people not getting results. And so Jill saw this space, this gap. I saw this as well. And Jill was like, but let's do something about it. And that was why Legacy started. And since then, our promise has, started off with talking about having your biggest launch. But I think one of the things that's more important rather than that, is that we create predictability for you. Online business is not a guess, right? It's not like, I hope I do well with this thing, going in, because it is a numbers game, right? You can get very strategic with things, very intentional with things. You can get very objective with things, very clinical with things. And that's what we've been able to do more and more and more each round. And when I say we've been able to do it more and more each round, this is the iterating that Jill's talking about. And it's largely just what we've leaned into more and more each round, and seeing like what is actually needed and why people, I don't want to say why people aren't succeeding, but what that missing piece is. And so one of the major things that you will get out of legacy is going to be that strategy, that structure, so that this becomes a rinse and repeat thing. If, my friends, you have the courage and the patience to do the same things over and over again and iterate, which is why this is round number 5 of legacy. This isn't like, oh, let's do another thing, a different name. No, this program works. We stuck with it, and we'd love to have you in it if what we're saying is resonating.
You know what's interesting is I was thinking back, our first year of legacy was 2021. So it started January 2021 as our first round. Yeah, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. So, and the space is even different from 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's our job as your coaches to really be up on how things are changing in the space. I think it can be very isolating as an online business owner because you go, I know something's not working. I'm not making sales. I put out stuff, I try stuff, I do promotions, I'm trying to launch stuff, and it keeps falling short of my expectations and it keeps falling short of what I want, or it just doesn't seem like it's working. But then you don't have anyone to help you make it better because oftentimes you're like, well, I don't even know what to change. So then you change everything and you have to
Mm-hmm.
start from scratch again. So one of the, yes, like Shantae said, it was definitely like there's a gap in the industry for this more intermediate level business owner, but I want to explain who that person is. How do you know if this is you? You have been doing this for a time. You do not have trouble with things like social media. Like you're not like, it's so hard to post. Like you post. You probably have had some one-on-one clients. You've probably had people reach out to you. People want to work with you. You've had some success, especially if you did start your business around the pandemic or maybe right after the pandemic. You probably had some early success. But since then, things have felt very unpredictable. Things have just not really been flowing. You feel like nothing is really working. And you keep trying to DIY it. You keep being like, oh, if I just keep, let me try this other. Maybe you learn something from a podcast, or you enroll in a free course, or you get a little tidbit of strategy from someone who you follow online. You go, ooh, let me try that. The problem is, a couple problems here. There's not enough iterating and repetition for you to get really good at launching a signature offer. So that's one of the things that we do in Legacy is we are going to help you identify out of all of the things that you have sold in the past, all the ideas you have for new programs, we're going to help you distill it down and really put together a product suite that makes sense for your ideal client. And then out of all of those potential products, which one's going to be your signature offer? Which is the one that you want to scale? Now, chances are it's probably not going to be a one-on-one coaching offer. We do have people in Legacy who do one-on-one coaching, and that's great. But if you're wanting to come in and you have like 10 coaches that all do one-on-one coaching for your team, I don't think that that's probably the best fit. What we want to help people
No.
with is if you have a group coaching offer, a coaching pod of some kind, a course of some kind, we want to help you blow the lid off that thing. Like really, that's what we want to do is get you a solid launch strategy. Look at the numbers, look at the metrics. I know none of us love that stuff. I know that it can like make your head explode, but I promise you, it's actually it's funny. It's like it's actually not all that complicated,
Exactly.
right? It's not like you're gonna have like spreadsheets and spreadsheets of numbers. It's literally like 2 numbers you need to know. But most creatives, right? Most creatives and coaches are just like, I want to talk to people, and I love mindset, which is great. But we got to activate, what is it, the left or right brain? Which is the right? I think it's the
I don't
left
know.
brain. I think
I'm
it's the
like,
left brain
I
that's like
think
the more analytical.
I think so.
We're going to have to activate a little bit of that just to look at your numbers. Sometimes business owners don't like to look at their numbers because it's kind of like scary or feel shame about it. You make it mean something. So one of the things that I think Shantae and I can do for you, and the thing that we do for all of our students, is like they get super fucking clinical. We've had people do like 60, 70, 90, over $100,000 launches. And we've also had people do 8, 10, 15, 20 units and make thousands of dollars. So depending on what your business needs, it really just depends on like what is the what we call the sales mechanism. What's the sales mechanism going to look like? And then once we do it, we can see where some of the gaps are. And by the way, there's always gaps. There's gaps in Shantae's launches, my launches,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's launches, that things that we can improve on. So this goes to that sort of what back to the conversation about feeling isolating. This is something I hear from people a lot. They go, I know I want this to work, but I don't know what to change. And I don't want you guys starting from scratch again. I don't want you pulling a new fucking program out of your ass. Can I cuss on the show, Shantae?
It's too late if we couldn't.
Yeah, because I would rather you look at things like launch vehicle, look at things like numbers, look at things like messaging, look at things like anticipation phase, look at things like lead generation, and just get better at the business skills. Oftentimes it's not about the offer. Offer is probably great, but the way you're talking about the offer isn't resonating. And so we really do become diagnostic within your launch to know how to make something better. And we will literally say, here's where things are going sideways. This is what we need to work on. We're going to do that for next launch. And then in that way, we have clients that have been in legacy for, more than 1 year, and they're doing massive launches
Mm-hmm.
of the same program because they've stuck with it and that they've scaled their signature offer.
Legacy, hopefully, as you're listening to this, you perhaps, or I didn't say hopefully, perhaps if you're listening to this, you're like, well, how do I know if it's like this thing that I need or this thing that I need? Jill did say that we're going to look at numbers to determine what you specifically need. But this is also, in my opinion, one of the best features of Legacy is that it has one-on-one support. When we were sitting down and creating the program, it was like, hey, what outcome do we want to get for people? How long does it take to get them that? And how do we get them that outcome? The way that we're going to do it with this group of people is by having one-on-one, individualized, bespoke, we'll use the word bespoke support for whatever it is that your specific business needs. Because one, depending on what you're selling, that will change things, what your audience is like, how long you've been doing this thing, how specialized you are, what you've done in the past. All of those things are going to come into play. And from there, we can determine specifically what it is that you need. One of the things that is very cool about Legacy is that not only do we get to watch people go through the individual cohort, but we do have continuation options, which means that we get to work with people for years and we get to watch them come in. And maybe this is overwhelming, and that's fine. It's to be expected because you haven't heard this. Perhaps you haven't heard this before, but we get to watch them take that overwhelm and turn it into excitement because they're like, hey, but when we first start, I'm like, oh, what could we be doing? I could do this. Oh my God, no, I didn't change this. And then as they go through, they're like, oh, I could change this. I could change this. So if they don't necessarily get the outcome that they want, right, they can get super objective and be like, cool, this is a messaging thing. I can look at this from the percentages. Oh, actually, no, I just need more people top of funnel. And then you can ask either of us, this is going to be Jill's specialty though. How do I get more eyes on this thing, top of funnel? What's the strategy for this? All right. So like I was saying, in my opinion, the fact that you get two of us kind of with different specialties is huge, but the fact that you coming in getting that one-on-one support is going to be something that differentiates Legacy from either of the other offers, any of the other offers, I should say, that both of us provide. And really what we see as this intermediate business owner needing. Jill, can you speak to that just a little bit? Just kind of a brief comparison of kind of the beginner, intermediate. You went into it, but I'd love to if you could just circle back on that.
Yeah. So I love that you mentioned that. So I have had a lot of people reach out recently because we just launched our beginner program. It's called FBA, Fitness Business Accelerator. And I had a lot of people who were like, I know I need something. I know I need some kind of coaching as FBA for me. And we usually do a little back and forth. They kind of tell me where they're at in their business. And here's the thing. Beginners actually do well, like in large groups, because a lot of times they're such a blank slate. They don't have any context. So for them, it sort of can feel like drinking from a fire hose because they're just like, all of this is new. So and Shantae does her Instagram intensive as her like kind of more beginner phase thing. And I do FBA. And in those groups, people sit on calls and they'll be like upwards of like an FBA is like upwards of like 100 people on those calls. And that actually is good for beginners because oftentimes they don't even know what to ask. So they'll hear someone ask a question or whatever, and that will be like, oh, yeah, okay. And like, I didn't even know I needed to know that, but I learned it. Once you get to an intermediate level, you have enough context and you've done enough stuff that you really do need better strategy. you need better strategy. It's not that beginners don't need strategy, but beginners are just learning. Beginners just need to take massive action, because action creates clarity, action creates contrast. I know I want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to do more of that. Oh, that's for me. That's not for me. So beginners a lot of times are just like trying to get the lay of the land. When you're an intermediate, and this is actually what I told most of the people that were DMing with me, was I was like, you're past the point of sitting on a call with 100 people and like, like listening to everyone's, how many times a week should I post and stuff. That's fine. Everyone goes through the beginner phase, but intermediates need actual customized strategy for their business. We have all different kinds of people in legacy. I will say the one thing that we don't do, two things that we don't do, and maybe you can, I don't know if you agree with this, Shantae. We don't do brick and mortar. So if you're like,
No.
can this help with my brick and mortar business? I don't think that's the best use of your funds. Maybe look
No.
into Lextramind or something else. And if you're someone who just wants to do like a ton of one-on-one coaching, because we really want you guys to scale this. It's not that we can't. We've definitely helped people do cash infusions. We've helped people do VIP days. We've helped people do, one-on-one niche launches. We've helped people get their one-on-one coaching roster up if they need to. But ultimately, we're trying to create a legacy business. That's literally why we called this program Legacy. We don't want you guys having to just have a ton of one-on-one calls all the time, and that's your entire business model. We want you having a signature offer that you can scale so that you have something that brings in more revenue, that leverages your time better. And so for intermediate level people, they do need customized strategy based on their business model. One of my mentors always says that the model needs to match the money. So if your goal is to have a $500,000 business, you ain't going to get there from one-on-one. Like you can, but you will die.
That's
So
bad.
then you have to ask yourself, okay, if I have a big revenue goal, does the business model I'm running facilitate that? Or if you're like, I want to build $1 million business and you have a 99-cent ebook, you need to sell 1 million of those things. So it's like, does the model match the money? And everyone's business model is a little bit different. So she's laughing.
A 99
Sometimes
cent ebook.
we have to, right? That was so 2011. Y'all don't do a 99-cent
Don't do
ebook. Just
that.
please don't do that. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, how, like if I have a big goal, if I want to hit 6 figures, I want to hit multiple 6 figures, whatever that goal is, or I just want to help a shitload of people, what program, at what price point, and how often do I need to be running this thing? It is that simple. Now, it's not always easy, but it really is that simple. And so obviously that's where Shantae and I come in as business strategists and coaches to be like, and Shantae is really good at this. She always says that I'm like the nicer of the two, but
You
we just
are a
have
nice lady.
we have different strengths. Look, if something ain't gonna work, Shantae can tell you. I'm gonna be like, well,
Immediately.
you could do that,
That's a bad idea.
but
Don't do
I'm a
that.
little bit worried that, like, that's how I'll say it. Shantae be like, no, it will
No,
not work.
it's a
Don't
bad
do that.
idea. Next.
Just ask better
Next.
questions. I'll be like, well, let's
It's
talk
true.
that through. So, I mean, so if you are intermediate, like you do need strategy. And this is what I
Yes.
told everyone. And I was like, you're past the beginner phase. You guys have all the moving parts. Do you want to actually share a little bit about the sort of specific criteria we're looking for? Because there's always a question that comes up about legacy is like, is there a revenue qualification? Is there a follower qualification? What constitutes intermediate? And this is a really great question.
Totally. So, piggybacking off of what Jill just said, one of the things I say all the time kind of in social media is that you cannot optimize a habit that you haven't built. So what we're looking at with the beginner is that they're trying to build a habit. Like I have to post and I have to like think about sending an email and like maybe have a website. Like it's very beginner things. When we go to intermediate, we are looking to optimize that habit, right? If you are an intermediate, you're posting regularly and you're out of your own way. You're not like, oh God. And what is the
You've
word?
ripped the Band-Aid off.
You're good. All right.
You're not like, oh, someone's going to say something. Like
we're past it.
You do it.
We are past that. You're emailing your folks. And yes, I will say there's a little bit of gray area because I do have to stay on some people's ass to be like, hey, are you still emailing? But you've already started that habit and you're like, yes, I'm doing this thing. You're selling already. This is a big one, right? I'm not saying that you need to be doing $1 million launches. Obviously, you wouldn't be applying for this program, but you are okay asking for the sale, right? This is not a mindset program. Will we hold your hand through certain things? Yes. Will we encourage you to ask for more? And ask more frequently? Absolutely, right? Because this is what we're talking about when we're talking about optimizing that habit where you're already selling, but you're like, I sent one email and then I thought about it and then I did a post. And I'm like, all right, we started. we're going to get you sending more emails. We're going to get you doing more posts, getting in your stories, right? The encouragement to ask for more, the strategy that's behind that, the optimizing of that. An intermediate person, someone that we want in this program, they have action as the default. I'm thinking of someone right now, actually, in from Legacy, and we'd go from last round of Legacy, and we'd hop on a call, and she'd be like, "All right, I did this," and I'm like, "Great, I feel kind of like a stenographer on this call, and this is what I want because now I can guide this," as opposed to the person that's like, "Should I? Should I? I'm second guessing. I need a lot of positive, reinforcement for this." We want the person in Legacy. We want the person who is truly an intermediate. They understand that action, like Jill said, provides clarity. Action is going to be your answer. This is also, folks, why we moved the time frame up for Legacy, because we do have people that have action as the default, and they're like, I already started, and we're like, oh, okay, but we're going in the direction that's not great. So this way we can start with you folks in November and utilize that action. In terms of specific logistics for what we're looking for, like Jill said, there's no specific revenue, there's no specific amount of followers. Yes, I'm going to be completely transparent here. Obviously, having more followers that want your shit is better than having fewer followers, and it's easier than having fewer followers that want your shit. But what I am most concerned with, and social media, Instagram is my thing, is the engagement there. What does this look like? What does the niche down look like? Have you established yourself in this space? Are we going in a specific direction? Do we have engagement on there? Do we have interaction on there? Can we help you get that? Absolutely. Is it the best use of your time being in Legacy for 7 months? No. What we're looking to help you with during that 7 months is refining your message, attracting more of those people, and selling. We're not looking to just get started and say, hey, this is what I think I want to be talking about. This is the guidance I think I want to have. That's more the beginner side of things, which is totally fine. If you find yourself in this position where you're like, hey, I switched my niche, and now I'm going in a different direction, you're back to the beginning again. And there's no shade or anything like that, but this is not the best way to spend your time. So going back to this, as it relates to the social media component, which is honestly where I place the most emphasis, I can go in and look at someone's account and know how their business is doing. Right, we're here to help people take things to the next level, not just get things off the ground. So I'm looking for
I'll
that
never forget,
engagement.
we were looking at applications and you were like, the person bought followers.
Yes, you can tell right
Shantae
away.
does know, man. She's a detective on there.
Right away.
She could
I will
tell.
go check. And I'm like, this ain't what we want. It'll mess up your numbers. It gives you a false sense of everything. It also, you get dinged. Like your stuff's not going to get shown to people. Right. So in addition to that, right. So from the audience size or audience perspective, I want to know that you have engagement, you have some trust there. We are also looking at your messaging in terms of how specific you are. If you're all over the place, this is not the ideal program for you, because we don't want to spend 7 months trying to get focused on your niche. It's going to be very, very difficult to sell. We want people that are like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. I know who I'm talking to. I'm going in this direction. I want specific help. I want to scale this. And one more thing with that Jill has said before, something to consider when we're talking about scaling. So perhaps you're listening to this and you're like, I don't have some big, huge monetary goal, but you're like, I just like making content. I like to be the creative side. I like to write stuff. That is going to require you to scale in some way, shape, or form if you want to just be doing that. Right. So that is another type of goal that people coming into Legacy may have, where they're like, I want to get my time back, where maybe, yes, you want to go and be able to spend time with your family, things like that. Or you're like, I just want to be doing this part of the business. I like being the face of the business. I don't really love doing the other stuff. Cool. That means that you have to grow this team. You have to grow the business such that you can buy back your time and just be able to focus on that side of things. Right. So just a few things to consider when you're like, hey, is this for me? Where am I at? And where do I actually want to go? And could Legacy actually meet my needs for that? Question for you, Jill, is we've just talked about, who this actually is for, kind of what we consider the intermediate versus the beginner. Based on the people we've already taken through, who would you say gets the best results?
So this is the other part of like sort of the qualifications, the criteria. One of the things Shantae said earlier was we don't spend a ton of time on mindset. And what I mean by mindset, and you guys know this, that business development is innately personal development. So things are going to come up that you're going to have to vent about, or things are going to come up that are going to challenge you. I mean, that's just just like having a business.
Yeah.
But what we mean by there's not a lot of mindset, it's not a lot of like, you're here because you want to be here. You're here because on some level you have found a way to enjoy this process. That's a really big part of what we're looking for. We're really not looking to work with someone who we have to keep in the game all the time. We have to and we've never had anyone like that in Legacy, but it's very much someone who sees this as a career. They see this as like, they're like, okay, yes, I would be doing this even if I wasn't getting paid, because I know that I have a message that I want to get out to a shitload of people, and I'm willing to do what it takes to make that happen. I'm not in a rush. I want to see
Huge.
progress for my effort. I want to see progress for my effort. I want to know what the benchmarks are that I should be looking at to know that I'm progressing, whether that's a monetary goal or an audience goal or an impact goal or whatever. But we do talk about mindset, but it's a lot around how to go from someone who is very emotionally hijacked by a business to someone who sees this as like, this is my career. So I have to have a different relationship to problems. I have to have a different relationship to numbers. I have to have a different relationship to challenges that come up or things that are hard. There's a difference. And I always say this, there's a difference between doing something that's miserable and doing something that's hard. We're going to ask you guys to do hard stuff. There's going to be things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable at times, but that's also how you grow. And if you didn't have those moments of feeling scared or feeling nervous or doing something out of your comfort zone, then it wouldn't be growth. And so when I think about, yes, there's mindset in that. It's like, how can we change our perspective? Like, I hate the word mindset, so fucking overused. But
Mm-hmm.
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by mindset is, what's your perception? How are you perceiving your business? Are you perceiving it like, this thing needs to work or else I'm terrible and I should just go kill it? Like, or are you like, okay, yeah, things are happening that like are hard. And I know that I want to make this my career and I want to have a long, lucrative legacy business. So I have to switch how I'm interacting with the challenges that come up. Right. And again, when I say that, I don't mean like you guys are going to like go into debt and lose your home. Like, I'm just like, there's going to be
Absolutely
things
not.
that are hard to do. We're going to ask you to like get better at messaging. We're going to ask you to look at the numbers. We're going to ask you to, get more leads next time. And we're going to help you do all of those things. But these are things that are going to stretch you. And so from a mindset perspective, you have to be in the headspace of like, okay, I'm willing to do what it takes and I'm willing to see things clinically and objectively. And so that's really where we really help you guys, is like pivoting your mindset. I feel like there's sort of like a growing up that has to happen in your business. And this is just more of like a teaching point. I feel like beginners, this is really common because it's brand new. You guys are just you're just learning business skills. And it's very much like a child. If a child has like a toy and you take it away, they have a tantrum. And I feel like it's no fault of their own, but that's for beginner business owners, that's really common. It's like where we have this huge like emotional hijack moments, we have catastrophizing that happens, and everyone has that because you just haven't learned how to regulate your business emotions yet. That's okay. But in legacy, we're going to challenge you to grow up to like what I consider to be like adolescent or adulthood within your business. Instead of just being a coach who has a business, we're going to ask you to be a business owner, right? Different, right? The way you show up is different. And so in terms of the people who do the best, and I love this because this is a common thread for both of us, this sort of being able to be clinical and objective with outcomes. It's really nice because when one of our clients has a launch, and oftentimes it goes really well, other times maybe it goes sideways a little bit, and they say stuff like they're already coaching themselves up. They're like already coaching themselves up
Yes.
in expectation management and things like that. And so the people who do the best in legacy are willing to see challenges and problems objectively and as just something to be solved, not personal to them, not because they suck. It has nothing to do with self-worth. It has nothing to do with I shouldn't be doing this and like everything is bad. It's like not permanent, it's not perennial, right? It's all stuff. Instead, they go, okay, what do I need to do to make this better? And the best part about having Shantae and I both is both of us got a shitload of ideas about how to make it better all the time.
All the
So
time.
there's
There's always
never,
something.
you're never going to run up on a roadblock that you can't find a workaround. And so the people who do the best, obviously, if we're talking from that perspective and how you approach your business, I would say it's probably that. In
Totally.
terms of the people who do the best tactically, what would you say?
I would say, I want to say one thing, and then I'm going to jump into that. Just to elaborate on, highlight what Jill said about hard things. One of the type of person that does the best is someone who signs up because they want someone to ask them to do the hard things. And I have a few people in mind right now who I know continue to work with us because they're like, I wouldn't do this on my own. And I know that nothing changes if nothing changes. Right. I hate the phrase coaches need coaches. So we're not going to say that, but coaches understand the value of coaches. And so
Yes.
if you're like, hey, I want to like get faster or some shit, and you're like, but I actually don't like doing tempo runs. And I'm like, then you better hire a coach so that you fucking do tempo runs, right? Because they're going to program it for you. Or you're like, I got shrimpo legs. That's not Jill's problem. But like, if you have legs like me and you're like, I want bigger legs, well, then you need to hire a coach so they program more volume for your legs. Right. This is one of the things that you see with legacy. And, you know, we obviously, our niche is health and fitness, health and wellness professionals. And so inherently, you listening to this, you watching this, you understand that and the value of having someone that's going to hold you accountable to the things that you need to do if you want a different outcome. So again, the people who do the best, they're signing up because they want someone to ask them to do this, and they want someone to hold them accountable to do this, and they will not push back against someone who has asked them to do this. There's no like, but what about? They're just like, thank you. I know I got to do it, and I'm going to do it. I'm thinking about Alison Marie right now. She's like, I know I should do this. And then she does it and crushes.
And then she does it and then she crushes. Yeah.
And you're like, all right, on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
from the kind of other side of this, people who get the best results are the people who can get results. That is huge. We come into this expecting that you have an expertise and that you are great at getting results. But the people who are truly great at getting results, they've niched down. They have the courage to be specific, because we know, especially in our fields, I'm looking about physical therapists, they go from brick and mortar, they go from in-person to online. It can be very scary to niche down because they're like, but there's not enough. I promise you there's enough, especially if you get super specific. So people that get super specific and then they're like, I can get results for this. I'm not learning as I go in terms of getting the results side of it. I'm thinking about Melissa right now, like EDS, specializing in EDS. Like she knows that she lives this, number one, but she has been doing this forever. I'm thinking about Allie, we call her Disney, right? She specializes in runners who want to cross the finish line, Disney runners who want to cross the finish line, specifically with knee pain. I'm thinking about Joy, right, who specializes in pregnant and postpartum rock climber. Like, what? They can get results for their people. So I do want any of you that are watching this or looking at this, watching this or listening to this, I jumped the gun, to go and look at yourself in the mirror and say, can I get results for my people? That is the number one thing, more than anything. Second to that would be that they already have that engaged audience. Again, it doesn't have to be massive. I'm thinking about Holly now, who doesn't have some super, super massive following, but has continued to grow, has continued on with working with Jill and going into her other containers, because she has this super engaged following and knows how to communicate with them, knows how to build trust. So I would say those are going to be the top two things. Can you get results? And do you have that relationship, that rapport with your audience? It doesn't matter if the audience is massive, right? That can grow. But if you don't have that at all, that is difficult, right? I will say, in terms of, again, social media, Instagram is my thing. I see people that have these massive audiences and they can't sell because there's no trust, there's no rapport built with these people. It's just like they've become an exercise farm, or they're just like putting out entertainment. I don't actually want that person. We can try and do stuff with that, but you know what we're going to be doing? Going back to the beginning, to build trust. Whereas if I see somebody that already, they have a small audience, but they got people in their DMs, they got people in their comments, they got diehards, that's amazing. We can really look to leverage and grow that, and it's going to be much easier.
Yeah. I love that. Well, that's really all I had. I mean, we are going to be doing, and it's probably going to be maybe while you're listening to this or after you're listening to this, but we are running an open house on Monday, today, October 14th, at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And it's a great place for, if you guys are listening to this and you want to hop on, that we'll put the link in the show notes. And we'll also put if you guys want the recording, if you're listening to this after the fact and you want the recording, or if you have honestly specific questions for us, what we find, especially with this Intermediate Plus program, it can be a little bit harder for people to know if it's the right fit for them. And believe me, we want you to be the right fit, and we will tell you if you're not.
Absolutely.
Because we want to make sure that it's a win-win for you too. So if there's a better place for you to go, we do not accept everyone who applies. And that's not because we want to be a dick. It's just because we literally want you to get the best success. So if we want to see you in some other, we've told people in the past, like we've had people who are like, hey, we want you to just focus on building your audience for a year and come back next year. And then people did it. And then they came back and then they joined Legacy the next year. So we will tell you if we feel like it's not a good fit. So But with that said, we do want you to be serious. We do want you to be serious when you apply. So if you are thinking about it, feel free to shoot us a message, or you can also DM us to get the recording for the open house. The open house is just a great place for you to maybe ask, hey, this is my situation. This is what I've done before. This is where I'm sort of at with things. Do you think this is a right fit? I've been already having these conversations the last 2 weeks in my DMs. And I'm sure Shantae will as
Yeah.
well. But either one of us, you guys can reach out over DM. I'll probably ask you to send like a little bit of context about your business, um, where you're at, things like that. And then we can literally just prescribe what we believe is the best next step for you. And it may or may not be legacy. We'll be 100% truthful. It's like for us, it's not a cash grab. It's not like, oh, we're trying to get
No.
everyone in. We literally want to make sure that if we accept you into this container, that we can actually crush it for you. And that's our promise. So if you guys have any questions, let us know. But the link to apply is also in the show notes. I think that's all I had. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I just wanted you to circle back one more time and hit them with the kind of dates, logistics, just to close
Yeah.
the loop
So doors
there.
are open right now. Our applications are open now. We're going to be closing this coming Friday, the 18th at midnight. So you guys have about 5 days to enroll or to apply. There is a pretty extensive, I would probably set aside at least 20 minutes for the application. And that's again by design. We want to make sure that you guys are serious. And we also just want to know a lot about you. Like the more we know about you, the better we can decide if this is going to be a great next step for you. The other thing I will say, y'all, is it's significant investment. And that's by design as well. One of the things that Shantae and I both, both of us do realize, I hate to say it this way, but like we realize our value. Could you find something
Yeah,
cheaper? Absolutely. Could you find a coach that, you have one-on-one calls with every single day? Sure. Like you can find plenty of coaches that are cheaper. But for us, it's never going to be a race to the bottom because we really believe that that we bring quality to the right
yeah.
person. And so again, it needs to be a right fit. But all the pricing information is on the application page. So you guys can see with full transparency exactly what you're going to learn. There's a curriculum on there, all of the deliverables. We do have, of course, one-on-one coaching with us. We have group calls as well, where you're going to be learning new stuff. And we do have a live event. So all of that is on the info page. Go ahead and read through everything. We have some testimonials and some success stories and case studies on there if you guys have questions about that. If you're interested in, I don't know, referrals, we can certainly provide you, and we'll have to ask our people if they feel comfortable being
Yeah,
shared. But if you guys want to talk to legacy alums and they would be interested, well, feel free
totally.
to hit us up about that too.
Absolutely.
Again, it needs to be a hell yes for you. And like this is literally how when we extend an invite to somebody, we say, hey, we've read through all of your stuff, we've checked out, we've stalked you, like literally, we've been to your
Literally.
website, we've been to
Literally.
seen your opt-ins, we've seen your social media, and we're a hell yes for you. And we are
Yes.
only looking for people who are hell yeses for us. If it's like, I don't know, it's okay. That's fine. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's not this program. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's not us. But we really are looking for hell yeses. And so if you are hell yes and we are, then fucking let's go make magic and let's get on that rocket ship.
Two things. Number one, in addition to that, there is a $500 refundable deposit for the application fee. Again, we want for the application, excuse me. We want people who are serious about this. I'm putting this in the episode because I'm going to say it. It fucking drives me crazy when people don't read stuff. If you don't read stuff, I already don't want you in the program. And I'm going to say it full. I know that you listening to this are like, yeah, I feel the same way. So I'm saying it now. There is an extensive application, and then there is a $500 refundable application fee. Both must be submitted for your application to be considered. If we accept you, and then you're like, hey, I accept you as well. Amazing. Then that $500 will go towards your full investment. If we're like, hey, there's something better for you, like we will always tell you what is the next step where we would suggest you go, then that $500 is refundable. Second thing, or will be refunded. I shouldn't say is refundable, will be refunded. Second thing, I just want to tie in and kind of jump onto what Jill said about why we charge what we do. One of the things that I say on social media and one of the things I say in coaching in general is how they reach you is what they'll teach you. Meaning, if someone reaches you through some sort of grimy ad or some sort of grimy DM and they're just up your butt and they're like sending a million DMs to you and pestering you, that's what they're going to teach you how to do, right? Flip side, how Jill and I love to sell, it's going to be super transparent. We're going to teach you how to sell in the same way. the excitement that we have. This is why we do these fucking podcasts all the time, because we're just like, this is the best. We want you in this thing. That's how we're going to coach you to sell. We're not going to have you doing, selling in a way that feels bad for you. Additionally, with pricing, we are going to encourage you to set prices on your offers that feel good for you. Like Jill said, it's not a money grab. It's not just like charge the most all the time, whatever. No, it's what feels good for you, what's going to allow you to get the results for your people, what's going to allow you to show up in the best way possible, right? So how they reach you is what they're going to teach you. So hopefully how we're reaching you now, you see, this is what we are going to teach you. Speaking of teaching, this is just part 1. So we got a bonus episode coming up. It'll be dropping on Wednesday on Jill's podcast, Fit Biz You, and it'll be dropping on Thursday. So if you want to go to hers first, that's totally fine. Then listen to it again on Thursday on my podcast, Maestro on the Mic, where we're going to be breaking down the top 2 things that we see, what we consider to be holding people back in the online space and preventing them from getting that success that they want. Anything else,
Love
JB?
it. That's it. Well, this one a little bit longer, but I get so fucking pumped up.
I
Like,
know,
I'm so excited
exactly.
for you guys. Like, literally, we always say to Shantae, we're like, we already feel bad for people who don't
Yeah.
apply. We just
Come
always
on.
do. Y'all,
This is so
it's a
fun.
fucking family. It's our 5th round. Like,
so
we love, like,
fun.
no joke. Every time we get off the calls for Legacy, one of us texts the other one. We're like, I love
Like,
them so
I love
much.
them.
They're the best ever.
We just had a call yesterday.
We did. And I literally
Yesterday.
was like, they're the best. Like,
The best.
I love them so much.
It is the best.
So yes, it's a significant investment, but also y'all, like, this is like a high level container. Like, we do it all with you. So anyway, I'm excited. If you need anything at all, our DMs are open. Go to the show notes. All of the links are there. And let's make sure that you're making the right decision for you. We got your back.
Love it. I love it. That's all we got for you. If you got questions, comments, concerns, you know where to find us. DM us, hit us up. Come to the open house if you haven't, if the time has not passed yet. And then if you still are like, I don't know, check out Wednesday/Thursday's episode. All right. Until next time, friends, JillFit and Maestro out.